Much like energy cultivation, opening the heart does just occur naturally, because there's so many things that we can notice, like we were talking about beauty yesterday, or the song of a bird. There's so many things that can bring us joy, that we can feel grateful for, that just touch us with their beauty. So perfect timing. Love it. And so without even trying to do a particular practice for the heart, it's just naturally going to open. And as we cultivate our energy field, that can help lift off blockages from the heart as well. But also there's particular practices that we can do. And a practice is really it's just to help bring some intention and just supercharge the process just a little bit more. So we'll do some practices this morning which you can do when you're out in your solo site. So all of these practices, you're welcome to practice it during your solo time, particularly if you have sensed that this is something that you would like to work on, please go ahead. But otherwise, you're also welcome just to enjoy your solo site as well. So yeah, practice is just a practice. That can be very useful. So I've written there that we can assist the opening of the heart. I wrote a sentence with words that don't make all sense together, so I'll just explain what I meant. We can assist this occurring, that's what I meant to say, by practicing reciprocity, so giving back. And you can do that really simply by just saying thanks. So if you have been touched by something or feel like you've received a gift, whether it's of insight or of energy or the experience of beauty, then you can practice it by just giving your heartfelt gratitude. But you can also give back in terms of it could be a song, so you might like to sing. It's why offering substances are used a lot as well. You give an offering back when you are grateful. And you can also give back your energy. So even practicing Qigong in nature, like bear gathers Qi, for example, as your hands come down, you can be giving energy back out to your solo site, and that could be an act of reciprocity because you're receiving and then you're sending. Gratitude, of course, which is one thing we're going to practice this morning. It's very important to get into a habit of gratitude. But yeah, being honoring, so in terms of being sensitive to what your site or what a being of nature might need, and asking permission like we did the first day. These are all things that help you feel more fully in your heart because you're being empathetic to what the site or a being might need. Does that make sense? I remember, I'll share a story. So I know terms like opening the heart, letting go, they all can seem kind of cliche. That's what every hippie says. But it actually is a thing. So when I was on my first quest, or Sacred Passage, a slightly longer version of it, I had this little, had an experience where things were starting to happen, magical kind of things. I wasn't really consciously aware of what was really going on at the time, but I was definitely kind of getting really into the guts of the solo. And I was just enjoying myself. I was watching this stream that was at my site. But I thought, no, Claire, too much playing around. You've got to do your practices. So I turned around. I only had like one little spot of grass to sit on in my site. So I turned around and went back to my site, my practice spot, and there was this bird like jumping up and down on the spot. And, you know, my teacher has said, well, sometimes animals, they might, you know, want to say something to you, or they might have a message or a gift for you. So if they're behaving weirdly, like, pay attention, because, you know, they might be trying to tell you something. So I thought, oh, you know, are you talking to me? Like, watching this little bird jump up and down. I thought, no, don't be silly. Sit down, do your practice. And I was doing a practice for opening the heart's Tonglen, which is about giving and receiving, a little bit like metta. So you're like breathing in suffering and breathing back out healing energy. And you do it first for yourself, and then you do it for another person. And I just visited a friend just before I went out on the solo who was going through a rough time. So it was really easy for me to like really feel this like, oh gosh, that's really hard. So I could feel like this sort of pressure, like almost building up like in my heart as I was doing the practice. And then that little bird that was jumping up and down at my site, like swooped past my head. But I felt this warm wave of energy, like it passed me some energy, and it moved down from where it went past me and moved down straight to my heart. And it like burst whatever blockage was there, like it burst it off. And I had never felt, I mean, I was practicing my Qigong, but I had never felt energy like that. It was so like palpable, like this slow, warm energy. And then the feeling of the heart going, oh, that's what it feels like when the heart opens. It's like, wow, that was pretty amazing. Yeah, and then when that opened, like I stayed with the practice and then could feel the energy start to rise up further, and then it helped open the crown as well for this extra like juice that was flowing through my system. So yeah, opening the heart is quite powerful, can be quite visceral. So yeah, see how you go. I certainly wasn't expecting it to happen at that point in time, so you never know when you're ready to let go, and when you go into nature with an intention, then nature can often really want to help you with it, especially if your intention's linked to helping others. That seems to really invite in the help from the rest of life. So we're going to do one of these practices for the heart. I'm going to write it in. Yeah. I should have numbered these pages. That would have been helpful. But there's a section called the role of the heart, and the exercise is heart-centered meditation. So if you want to make any notes about the practice, you can write it in that section beneath when you're ready. So we'll sit up for this practice. This one you can do with your eyes closed again. Cool. So all we're going to do is place our hands over our heart and close our eyes. So just notice where your awareness is right now. It's most likely in your head, because we always like to associate our mind with awareness. And then we're just gonna let our awareness, just like it's just, you're putting it into a little elevator in the middle of your head, and the elevator's gonna slowly travel down out of your head, down through your throat. So tracking this elevator with your awareness the entire time. And eventually that elevator lands in your heart center. So noticing any sensations that are in your heart center. Feeling right into the center of your chest. And all we're going to do is just with our hands over our heart, just generate the feeling of very gently holding our heart. So kind of like you would hold a baby, like just holding it tenderly. Noticing any sensations, even if it's just noticing the warmth between your body and your hands. You might start to notice some emotions, which is totally fine. Just keep holding it, showing compassion for yourself, for any sensations that you might feel or emotions. Just really getting used to having your awareness in your heart center or your middle dantian. And keeping your eyes closed, you can release your hands. Just taking your awareness back to your breath. Finally opening your eyes. So it's just a really simple little practice, but I think it can be really powerful, both for helping open the heart, but also just for getting used to feeling your heart and getting used to having your awareness in your heart, because, yeah, there's no need for us to all be up here. And in fact, to get, kind of sciencey for those who like that. So there is the vagus nerve, which runs between your mind, your heart, and your gut. And, well, actually all your internal organs. And the vagus nerve is really crucial. And in fact, what's really interesting is that it sends more information up from the heart to the mind than the other way around. And so there's a lot of important information that comes from your heart into your brain. And the same from your gut to your mind. So I think it's quite important, when we are so imbalanced, having our awareness in our head all the time, having your awareness in your heart helps rebalance that and helps get that sensitivity and that flow of information going in the direction that it should be. And there's a whole scientists, exercise physiologists, in the field of mental health as well, have got a lot more interested in the role of the vagus nerve. So there's the Heart Math Institute, if you're interested, but they've looked at what this sensing from the heart can really do for us, and looking at heart rate variability, which is an indication of how the vagus nerve is functioning. And one thing we can do to improve it is a heart-centered meditation just like that. And then all you have to do is add in a positive emotion that's associated with the heart. So love, gratitude, compassion, maybe even hope. So yeah, come back to hands on heart. Letting your awareness travel back down to your heart space again. Feeling the sensations, maybe emotions. Maybe bring a little smile to your face. And then choose an emotion, a positive emotion associated with the heart. Love, gratitude, bring it to mind. And then you want to try to generate it, like cultivate it. So if I'm focusing on love, what does that feel like? And then I'm going to try to create the feeling of love. And most importantly, we're keeping our awareness still in our heart so that generation of love we feel coming from the heart center. So almost like with our hands over our heart, we can feel that energy exuding from our heart into our hands. Just generating more and more of that positive emotion from the heart center. You can let your hands rest and just notice what you're feeling, how you're feeling. Is that different to how you were feeling before? Okay. And you can open your eyes, maybe with the intention of keeping that positive sensation going. All right. So your solo for this morning, there's a couple of things for you to practice. Number one is called a gratitude and appreciation walk. So as you are getting closer to your site, like maybe you've still got 20 meters or something to go, what I want you to do is every time your foot lands, you have to notice what your eye is looking at and then find something to be grateful for that's related with what you're looking at. And you can make any association that you want. So it could be like, I really love that color of green. Or it could be, like a childhood memory, like, oh, looking at that tree reminds me of climbing trees and that makes me so happy, so I'm really grateful. Or it could be like associated with just something else in life that you're really grateful for right now. That this leaf reminds me of a skirt that my grandmother would wear. I don't know, totally making that up. But yeah, you can associate with anything. It can be quite direct and literal, or it could be quite, abstract. But you don't get to pick and choose. So anytime your foot falls, you have to find something to be grateful for 100% of the time, no matter what you're looking at. And you're not allowed to take another step until you've done it. So hopefully your heart will be nice and open when you get to your site. And so when you're there, you can practice anything we've done so far. Really, you could continue working with the 9 experiential fields. You could practice Qigong. Definitely practice that standing meditation that we just did because it's so great for opening the heart. But the other thing that I wanted to give you to try new today is reciprocal breathing. I say with a tree, trees are great to do it with, but if you don't have a tree, I'm guessing most people probably have a tree next to them. But if it's a pineapple plant or whatever, you can also do it. It might just feel a little different. But assuming it's a tree, so all you're doing is like, all plants, they photosynthesize, they produce oxygen for us to breathe, and we breathe back out carbon dioxide that they breathe. So it's just a real simple, like being aware of that exchange. You don't have to think about oxygen and carbon dioxide, you can just think about, bring your awareness into your heart space again, and as you breathe in from the tree, you're breathing tree energy into your heart, and then as you breathe out, you're breathing out your energy into the tree. So it's a giving and taking reciprocal relationship through using the rhythm of the breath to bring it in and give yourself back out. Great. And if you really want to have like a little experiment with sensing energy, as you approach the tree, and this will give you a little guide as to how far away you need to sit, like you don't need to be like right up against it. Try to sense when you're entering the field of the tree. So you can approach the tree with your palms out, because like I said, they're the most sensitive. And as you walk towards the tree, try to notice when the field of the tree begins. And then you want to sit inside the field of the tree. Your challenges are the gratitude and appreciation walk, and standing meditation, because I definitely want you to practice that in your sites, and reciprocal breathing with a tree. Just simply heart space, that's very important. It's not simply just your breath, it's like from the heart, giving and receiving. So it's all in balance. Make sense? Any questions? Wonderful. Well, I will cooey in about an hour. Have fun, everybody.
Thank you.